Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2CTV, your global news channel. We come to you guys with some breaking news coming from the Middle East as the conflict has now resumed again following violations by both Hezbollah and Hamas. The Israelis have now hit back, and first things first, apologies, I am basically 4-5 minutes late. The whole system fell apart and I am officially blaming the IRGC for hitting our 2CTV headquarters. Alright, so it's kicking off now, and over the last few minutes, actually it was good that we were slightly delayed because the Israelis have now confirmed the elimination of the Hezbollah's chief of staff. Yet another leader has been eliminated. We're going to go live to Gaza with our live feed, and we have a number of videos to show you today, and another one bites the dust. And a number of commanders and leaders of Hamas in Gaza have also been wiped out. A lot is happening. All right, so I'm going to give you guys the summary first, and I'm going to get your reaction as well. We have a number of latest statements from the Israeli government and the other side as well. So first things first, the initial update that we received. Israel hit both Hamas and Hezbollah after ceasefire violations and the so-called peace deal agreement violations. Hezbollah were not supposed to be mobilizing, and guess what? They have been mobilizing in Lebanon. Hamas are not supposed to be crossing the yellow line or attack the IDF troops. Guess what? They have been doing both. And they decided to F around. Obviously, now they're going to be finding out. Let's firstly go to the video that we have from an apartment block in Lebanon, in Beirut, where the Hezbollah leader and chief of staff, Haitham Ali Tabatabai, who, by the way, we've discovered is actually Iranian, is part of the IRGC, has been targeted. Let's go quickly to the first clip, and I don't know what's going on here, but I'm not in charge, I'm just a puppet. Let's go. So that's where it happened. Yeah, that was a surprise assassination. Anyway, so the airstrikes by the Israeli Air Force were, they used precision assassination missiles, which were fired from a fighter aircraft, hitting a residential building where the chief of staff of Hezbollah was located. And this was on Al Arid Street in the suburbs of Lebanon, outside of Beirut. Now, this is the face of the chief of staff. Tabatabai, of course, is a technically speaking an Iranian name. A lot of the IRGC guys, of course, Hezbollah is a direct creation of the Islamic Republic of Iran, as opposed to Hamas. That's why Hezbollah are Shia and Hamas are Sunni. But because of that, obviously you have a lot of the IRGC officials and leaders who are on the ground in Lebanon to run the organization, and one of these guys has now been wiped out. Now, there is a statement from the Prime Minister's office in Israel that says, a short while ago, the IDF struck in the heart of Beirut. The chief of staff of Hezbollah, who led the build-up and arming of the terrorist organization. Prime Minister Netanyahu ordered the strike on the recommendation of the Minister of Defense and the Chief of the General Staff. Israel is determined to act to achieve its goals anywhere and at any time. Now, this was supposed to be straightforward. There were two conditions for both Hezbollah and Hamas. As I said, Hezbollah are not supposed to be remobilizing anything. Hamas are not supposed to be attacking the IDF troops and also crossing the yellow line. And both of them seem to be doing it at the same time. The violations of the ceasefire is happening at the same time, which means that even though there are two separate deals, the one between Israel and Hamas and Israel and Hezbollah, but they are violating it at the same time, which means that something is cooking. And of course, the Israeli intelligence was there to keep an eye on it. Now, there's the next video there. This obviously shows the huge failure of intelligence in Lebanon by the Hezbollah leadership. We go back to the target in Beirut. Let's go and see the next video.
هون هيدي هون حد الملحم حد صالون مرت صاحبي.
Yeah. Now it's quite clear that there is, on some level, there is some sort of coordination. Now, I don't believe that this is actually happening directly between the leaderships of Hamas and Hezbollah. This has to have a senior figure, which usually goes back to Tehran and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. But somebody is coordinating this to hit back at Israel, and we'll find out exactly what's going on, because there will be more intel coming out of the Middle East, and of course the Israelis will be making more statements. But so far today, and as we speak, there's been total chaos in Beirut following the assassination of the Hezbollah leadership. And we could go to the next video quickly, and then I'm going to explain what's going to happen next and what's happening in Gaza as well. Total chaos. Now, this was, of course, a precise attack, and it didn't have civilian casualties, because it wasn't really supposed to be hitting civilians anyway. And obviously there will always be collateral damage because it's a conflict, but it wasn't really to target civilians. That's why they used this very specific type of assassination missiles. And now the State Department in the United States, in case you're not aware, they've been after this man for some time. A reward of up to $5 million for any information on Haytham Ali Tabatabai, who is a key military figure in the Hezbollah organization. As a special forces commander in both Syria and Yemen, he has helped Hezbollah conduct operations that destabilized the region. If you have any information about Tabatabai, text it to Rewards for Justice over Signal, Telegram or WhatsApp at the number below, or send it via our tip line. Now, I'm guessing the Israelis could now get the reward, $5 million, but that was $5 million for information. So for assassination, I'm guessing there's going to be a bigger reward. So the Israelis have once again done the dirty work for the United States. The Americans could take a tiny bit of a breath until the next enemy on the target list of the State Department. But the Israeli drones, until the last couple of hours, they were still flying over Beirut just to monitor the rest of the situation. Let's go there. Now, if we quickly go back to the situation in Gaza. Yeah, so this is the live feed that we currently have from the Gaza Strip. I'm going to explain what's been going on over there as well with the Hamas leadership. Things have slightly kind of calmed down now, but there were a number of attacks by the IDF on the Islamists in Gaza. But to finish off the situation in Beirut, so the strike in Beirut was launched within minutes of receiving the latest intelligence by Mossad, obviously from the Mossad assets on the ground in Beirut in Lebanon, and the assessments of the operation's success. So they called this Operation Black Friday. So that was, which is, came with a discount. I'm guessing if they're going to get the reward from the State Department, they're going to have to get a discount for that. So they did get the intel, but they had to act very, very quickly and swiftly. That's what happened. Israeli sources have also informed the Al Arabiya the media channel, that the assassination of Hezbollah's leadership and chief of staff has been successful. So that's also an extremely important development. It wasn't just the rumors, they have actually confirmed this now. There is also the situation with the airstrikes in southern Lebanon in general. Now, these are the latest images that we have from earlier on in Beirut and also the suburbs of Beirut. In southern Lebanon, explosions rocked the areas known for Hezbollah presence. The strikes came just hours after the IDF confirmed they targeted the killings of 2 senior Hezbollah operatives who were linked to the infrastructure of Hezbollah. And also there were key liaison on the ground in order to help mobilize the Hezbollah militants, clearly in violation of the ceasefire agreement with the state of Israel. Now, in terms of Gaza, now we can go slightly to the south. The Israelis have successfully taken out Hamas's weapons supply chief. So that was the main contact. His name was Ala Hadidi, who was the chief of supply for Hamas. And at the manufacturing headquarters in Gaza, he has now been eliminated earlier in yet another IAF precision airstrike at his vehicle in Gaza City, in the middle of Gaza City. 4 other Hamas operatives alongside him who were in the car have also been eliminated and sent out to the afterlife to meet their 72 virgin goats. Israel have confirmed that the strikes, of course, violated the ceasefire temporarily, but said that this was in retaliation for an earlier breach by Hamas when the Islamist terrorists, opened fire on Israeli forces in southern Gaza and around Rafah, and also crossed the yellow line. Going back to Ala Hadidi, he played a important role in arming Hamas and ensuring that they can steal the humanitarian aid from the Gazans to keep it in the tunnels and obviously amongst the leadership of Hamas. Obviously, a lot of the Gazans will be happy that he's gone now, because he was extremely important in making sure that the Gazans don't get anything out of the humanitarian aid. Now, the next video is showing the latest footage from earlier on in Gaza, where the Israeli Defense Forces successfully eliminated 5 Hamas commanders. Now, let me just quickly show you what's going on here. Let's go to the next clip, and then I'm going to explain. So, yeah, you can see there's smoke from a flattened building. This is in the Nusayrat area in central Gaza. It's a camp, and there was a command headquarters that was basically hiding a number of the leadership of Hamas. They were not that good at playing hide and seek, and now they've lost that game. Oops. Yeah. Now, I'm going to get your reaction in the live chat shortly. If we quickly go back to a live feed from the Gaza Strip and explain exactly what's been going on with the airstrikes themselves, because so that's the map. The yellow area, obviously the yellow line between the yellow area and the white area is where the Hamas are not supposed to be crossing, and they have been doing it consistently, and they've been attacking the IDF troops there. So Israeli jets have been hammering eastern parts of Khan Yunis, which is obviously to the west of Gaza. And the so-called refugee camp is right in the middle of Khan Yunis. That was not hit at all. They aimed to the eastern part, which is closer to the yellow line itself. 10 Israeli airstrikes massively hit that area because they identified the Hamas militants and operatives. Now, the Gaza Health Ministry have said that the strikes have torched homes and vehicles and killing 22 civilian Palestinians in Gaza. This is where the whole of the international media realized that the Gaza Health Ministry is lying, because they didn't even actually mention the leadership. So everybody happens to be civilian. So the 22 who have been killed and now reported by the Gaza Health Ministry, everybody suddenly, when they die, they're all civilians. When they are living, apparently, they become very brave enough to wear their uniforms and they go on the streets and they all become Hamas members. But so the reports from the Gaza Health Ministry obviously can't be trusted as usual, but that's not really a big surprise. A US official, a senior US official from DC has said that the Israelis did not give any warning in advance about their strikes and only informed Washington and the White House afterwards. Another senior official has added that the US knew that Israel planned to intensify the operations, both in Lebanon and in Gaza, but they didn't actually know about the timing, which goes back to the normal communication and sometimes lack of communication between the Israelis and the Americans, because there have been times when the Israelis will give intel to the Americans in advance and then somehow it gets sabotaged. So it makes sense that Jerusalem says, well, we will tell the Americans what's going to happen, but we can't tell them exactly when and how or where, because somehow it gets leaked. And of course, there have been a number of people in Pentagon and links to Pentagon who have sabotaged these plans previously. So that's why they basically gave them the intel afterwards. Basically, instead of asking for permission, you do it, then you give you ask for forgiveness afterwards. So there's no forgiveness because there's no need for it, because this was simply a retaliation of the ceasefire, and the so-called peace deal was violated by both Hezbollah and Hamas. Now, the Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has released a statement on the strikes on Beirut in Lebanon. He said that we will continue to act with strength to prevent any threat to the residents of the north and the state of Israel. Anyone who raises their hand against Israel, their hand will be cut off. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and I are determined to continue the policy of maximum enforcement in Lebanon and everywhere. We will not allow a return to the reality before October the 7th. So that's the official statement from the Israeli Defense Minister. There's a few other things that's just come out in terms of the reaction to this following the confirmation by the Israelis about what exactly happened. And I think... One second, guys. What we can show you, the Israeli Defense Forces have now released the video from their drones showing the moment of the strike. Just going to put this on for you guys so you can see as well. Then I will get your reactions in the live chat. So, do we have this? Yes. All right. It's coming up. There we go. Nope, it's not coming up. What is going on? Why is everything falling apart? There we go. I've got it. All right. So that's the moment of the attack in Beirut by the Israelis. And so that was the residential building that was hit with Tabatabai, the Hezbollah chief of staff, who was located there. So as I said, they found out his location and his whereabouts only minutes before the attack. So they decided to act very quickly to ensure that nothing actually sabotages the plan. So that was one of the main reasons they didn't have enough time to tell the president in Washington exactly what's going on. They have already warned him that things are about to escalate at some point. Could be days, could be weeks, could be hours. And then they've got the intel, which obviously gave the Israeli Air Force only minutes to act. And they did act, and as usual, they never miss their target. Now, the Israeli, the IDF Chief of Staff has also now responded Al-Zamir says, we attacked the highest ranking commander of the Hezbollah terrorist organization. We will continue our actions to remove emerging threats. So that's also from Al-Zamir. All right, so I'm going to get some reaction in the live chat while we are here. There's more intel coming in soon. No, the figure says, I think we don't talk about the Muslim Brotherhood enough, the root of all evil. Yes, although there's a whole separate group in terms of the threats of them. We do have an update. President Trump and the White House have officially decided to designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization, just like the IRGC, so that's good news. Britain is still behind, but you know, what do you expect from the United Kingdom? Maya, thanks for the update. Thank you so much for the support. And Ivan says, Allah Hadidi, Didi Dum, Didi Do. Really? You know, I like that. Not bad. Thank you. That's a good one. Good one, Ivan. Anyway, but there's a lot to happen. Also, make sure to watch Why Poland Works, our latest original series on 2C TV Plus, so you can join by scanning that QR code somewhere down there to the right, or just go on 2c.tv. The good news about if you join 2C Plus now is that it will only cost you £1. Also, it's pound because of the currency, but it doesn't matter what currency you have, you can still work. We had some messages from people in America or Canada or wherever saying, how can we join? It's the same thing, it would just convert. So you can join with £1, a 7-day trial. Obviously, you get full access to everything that we have on the channel. All right, let's go back to you guys. See what is happening. IDF for Met Police. You know what? I'm not against that. What does that sound? Actually, I just realized you guys can't hear this, can you? Why is the sound gone for... I can hear. I don't know if you can hear this, but I don't know. Someone says designate Islam as a terrorist organization. The thing is, all you have to do is just have a political leadership in the West to at least identify and recognize that Islam is... Oh, wow. What was that about? That was so unnecessary. Anyway, let's get back to you guys. Don't worry, I'm still alive. I've not been taken out yet. Sapphire says technology is against 2C. Yes, I don't know what's happening. I'm not doing anything wrong. I am the victim as usual. Something is doing something to me behind my back. That sounded very dirty. I didn't mean like that. Something is going on and it's not my fault. Somebody's sabotaging, right? Anyway. Hey, Hadith guy, tell me about Elzad. Who's the Hadith guy? Muhammad is not alive anymore. I wonder what the 70 wives, oh, here we go, in heaven look like to them to be motivated. Oh, I do know. I'll explain. Did they see them in black burqas? No. Did they see the women in Western clothes? Do they picture them naked? Yeah, so this is the thing about the Quran compared to any other religion that promised you the afterlife, is that it's very, the afterlife in Islam is very earth-like, it's very human, and it's very materialistic. So it which makes no sense. Why should the afterlife be just like Earth? It makes no sense. And so it's about what you see here, the good things, the naughty things, you're told not to do it. Not because it's bad for you, because if you don't do it now, you'll be rewarded later on. So you're going to get all these angels, the 72 virgins, wearing white, nice hair, everything else, flying around. You can do whatever you want to them. There's going to be a lot of wine. There's going to be a lot of alcohol. All the stuff that they said is bad for you, don't do it here, you can do it there, which makes no sense because as opposed to the Christian message, Christianity says, well, don't do the bad things here because it's bad for you and you won't need it in the afterlife, because in the afterlife you'll be content, you'll be happy anyway. But in the Quran, it's very graphic, it's very literal and physical. Same as the concept of hell. It's a very physical location. It literally has a gate. It's got these caves with fires, and the devil comes with the horns, and they will be torturing, and they will be hanging people. They have chains. They took the chains from planet Earth to hell, like metal chains. I don't know why they have metal chains in the afterlife. Why do you need it? It's the afterlife. You have superpowers. They have gates. And also, depending on if you speak to a Sunni or a Shia, there are different versions of how you get there. So my favorite version of a section of the Shias, because Shias are fascinating creatures. They are very, they love the fantasy stuff. So you get to, a huge chunk of them say, you go to the afterlife, you all sit down, you watch a movie. It's like a cinema, literally a cinema. You watch a movie, like a flashback of your life. So they have the projectors, they got their DVDs and everything. And then once you finish it, you go through a door, and there's going to be a bridge between this side and that side. You go on the bridge, underneath is fire, and obviously Satan is waiting down there saying, hey. And then you cross that bridge. Oh, and you get your certificate before you cross the bridge. So at that point, you're not in control anymore, apparently. So if you are holding your folder, and they have paper, because they have printers, obviously, in the afterlife. They have printers, they print their papers. If you hold it with your right arm up, that means you're proud, you're happy, you're going to cross the bridge, you're going to go to the gate, and you open it, you go to heaven and hang out with all the boring, nice people. All the cool people are down there, obviously, you know, Karl Marx, Adolf, and all that. If you're bad, you'll get the folder, and you basically put it, it's autopilot, you're not really in control. You put it under your left arm, and then once you go over the bridge will basically get smaller and thin and narrow, and then boop, you go down. Which makes me wonder, they didn't clarify, do people go on the bridge at the same time? Because what if behind you is a nice person who's supposed to go to heaven, that bridge now collapses? Or do you have to go one by one? I'm assuming you have to go one by one, because otherwise there will be a lot of issues, health and safety. People will complain to HR. Oh, I wasn't supposed to go down there, and look at me, I'm burned now. It's embarrassing. So basically, it's a very physical and literal place, which only human beings could come up with that idea. Kudlek is back on the menu. Yes. More IRGC linked militias gone. That's because Muhammad wrote it that way. The thing is, he didn't even write anything because he was not literate. So he was going around. The other funny thing is, you've had millions of different versions of the Quran, right? And the rest of them have been destroyed. And then they got mixed up. But even the original, or the original versions, it made no sense, because Muhammad would sit down. He had to remember, because obviously when he was just going for a walk, because he had a heavy dinner, it was tough, because it was like a 3-course dinner. He had to go for a walk to digest, and then this angel Gabriel comes and he chokes him. I'm not exaggerating, it choked him. And he went back to Aisha, and Aisha says, oh, that was an angel, you're supposed to be a prophet. And Muhammad says, oh, cool, I'm a prophet now. But he said, he told me a lot of things. I didn't have my iPhone to do a voice memo to record his voice. So how do I remember? How do I write things down? So he had to get his friends to start writing things down. And every day he wakes up, remembers something. Like, oh, by the way, I was told this. So the chapters make no sense. Chapter 1 is something. Chapter 2 talks about something else. Chapter 3 is goes back to chapter 1. And so it gets very confusing. But that's even the original. The new ones, forget about it. It's been slightly complicated for the Islamic leadership to know exactly who said what. But he didn't write anything. He was illiterate. Leslie says, what do you think about the proposition for Ukraine, to Ukraine? So that's I still don't think that's the final proposal. That's supposed to be to push. That it's now time to push Ukraine again, because the last few months has been President Trump poking Putin. Before that, it was Zelensky. Then it was Putin. Now he's poking Zelensky again. These are what we call in geopolitics shock proposals to wake you up. And there will have to be a similar proposal. There will be tiny details will have to change. Both sides will have to basically concede. Ukraine will have to at some point concede a little bit more. That's the reality. But they can get the reward for post peace, which is security and guarantees. That you have to give, you have to take, because that's the reality. Because the other option is you have to be able to go to Moscow and kill Putin. If you can't do it, then you're just going to continue the forever war, and that's a whole complicated situation as well. Anyway, I don't know how we move from Mohammed to Zelensky, because Mohammed to Zelensky. Story time with Maya. I like this new feature. But you get me going about Momo and Aisha. I can't stop. People. It's called supply and demand. You demand, I supply. But for now, there's also, you have to have faith. You have to have faith that everything is going to be fine. If you don't have faith, what you can do instead, you can watch Faith Deficit, our latest documentary on 2C TV Plus, by obviously scanning the QR code right here or going on 2c.tv. The good news, as I've been ranting all day, said it once, is that you can join 2C TV Plus if you scan the QR code, obviously, but you can do it for only £1. It doesn't matter if you have pound as a currency, we'll just convert it for you guys. A 7-day trial, 1-week trial. So you can actually check out the platforms, see if you like it, download the 2CTV app and everything else about it. And then if you enjoy it, then you can obviously continue their membership. But that's the best way you can support our new media team, but you can get something out of it rather than fundraising or any of that nonsense. So yes, join 2CTV Plus, download the 2CTV app. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.